conclusion, but that was his testimony. Now, the background for this question is the following. A witness came to court here, Mr. Zungu, and testified that on the day in question, he was with other people at the Basotho hostel where there was a song and dance and meat eating and a merry, including the 5 suspects before court. Now my question simply is this. It's the same exercise that we went through yesterday with the 816 number that is attributed to accused number 3. If you look on the date of the 26th of October 2014, is there a stage, any stage, where that 816 number registered any activity at the Moleleki Tower? So triple G1. So if you look at triple G1, 26th of October 2014.
So, Ramasapele, while we wait, of course, for Upinki to give us the answer, you know, she's got to be so thorough. She has her laptop there. She's got those 4,000 pages that she told Ngomezuli has to be specific. But note how she is such a willing participant today. What an absolute surprise. But you know what? I don't want to digress. You guys know what to do. Please remember to like the video. And here's her answer.
So there's no specific time for the 26th?
Yes. If you just generally look, because the witness says, if I recall his evidence correctly, Mr. Zungu, he joined them around 2-3 in the afternoon at the hostel until they departed later at night.
So you want this witness to do what? This one?
To look at the 26th.
Why don't you put it to her? It would make sense to me.
Yes.
If you put it to her that Zungu says when he was at the hostel, at Basotho hostel, accused number 3 or 4 or 5 phoned. He was using the cell phone. Because that's the only way you can connect the evidence. Otherwise, this lady, I don't know how you're going to do it.
Man, I'm saying, with respect to 8169.
Phoning who? That's the point.
Location of the tower. Itself.
Yes, but
yes.
Phoning who?
It could have phoned anyone, man. What I'm interested in is not a particular person, it's the location of the tower.
My lord, I also want to raise an objection. Can the witness also be referred to the relevant passage in the evidence of Colonel Stein where he says the Moleleki Tower service the Basotho hostel?
You know what? I don't want to I don't want to be said I'm interfering. Colonel Stein at some stage was asked, can you estimate the distance between the call which was made allegedly from a particular house? I don't know if it's Kelly's house or whatever. Because they said that phone, you remember, the phone which was allegedly picked up or stolen or robbed, its track ended up to the hostel. You remember that evidence?
Yes.
Right. And Stein estimates that as 1.5 kilometers. Remember that? Now, okay, it doesn't matter, but listening to this lady, common sense and logic tells you that she said the radius in build-up area is what? Of the towers?
In built-up areas, anything from 200 meters to 5 kilometers.
That's it. That's how I see the evidence and interpret it. Maybe I'm wrong. Fine.
I'm not sure, my lord, we are on the same wavelength with the court. And with respect to, just to address my learned colleagues' objection, that is something, because I've got the record here, that is something that I'll go to the record on and then talk to him. Now, let's speak about the crime scene itself, which is 13511 Kupano Street, Mzansi section, Spray View. Again, Colonel Stein stated that, according to him, this address specifically is covered by the Spread View and Parque towers. And then in your evidence, you said the distance from Spread View Tower to the crime scene is how many meters or kilometers?
I'm referring back to the map.
It's
From Spruit View to the crime scene.
If I refer you to exhibit purple J7 in brackets captivated.
Yes. So on page 4 of the map, it says distances to crime scene. So the first entry is Spruit View to the address 13511 Kutlawong Street. It's 1.18 kilometers.
And similarly, the distance from Parquet to the crime scene.
From Parquet to the crime scene, it's 2.2 kilometers.
And now, in your expertise and given the evidence that you've given about the coverage area, the range of a tower, will both towers, in your opinion, serve the crime scene?
Yes, it's within the vicinity.
Now, the final aspect that I would like to touch with you refers to Exhibit DD 5E Roman figure 1. That will be the section 205 in respect of the number that ends with 24.
Okay, which page are we looking at?
So now, if I may take instructions. Thank you, Madam Mediator. It will be for the number that ends with 8460. Do you have that in front of you? Exhibit DD 5E Roman figure 2.
This exhibit comprises of number 6890.
Yes. There's another one. The number is attributed and associated to accused number 2, the 8460. It was given to us as exhibit DD 5E Roman figure 2.
I don't see that number on this exhibit. Number ending
8460.
Yes, 8460 is this small section
Yes, the
here.
small section. I just want you to go to just a few aspects on that one. The towers on the 17th of June 2020. We're starting at 08:52:07.
On the 17th of June at 08:52:07, the tower that was picked up was Hawaii Street.
And the transaction or the activity,
That activity was a call that was received from 081057786 to the number ending 8460, and that cell phone was on voicemail, which reflects as CF.
and then at 08:53 and 59 seconds,
The tower is the old Apostolic Church, and the activity is 8460 still being on voicemail, and that was from the number 7786.
and at two times at 09:37:07 and 10:08:34, which towers are picked there?
Fosler Square.
And then the activity,
8460 remains on voicemail, and at 9:37 a call came from 7786, and at 10:08 it was a number ending 16. 98.
And then we go to 153448.
That transaction was a empty SMS, which was received by 8460. That tower reflecting is Ben Fullion.
Now, before you go further, just this transaction at 153448, Colonel Stein testified that, and also Sergeant Mohale, that Belmfeldwin Street, it's a street closer to the Pretoria North SAPS, right? And then let's move, because I'll come back to this aspect when I summarize it together.
You know what? I don't want to be problematic, but we've heard that line before, Ramasapele. We have heard that line before. I'll summarize this later. Hold on to that point. Why does the defense like doing that? Is that just a filler sentence that they say when they don't know where they're going, or they've run out of questions with regards to that, or they have forgotten where they were going with the question? It's something I've noticed, because Ungomezulu, he left us hanging, okay? He left us hanging. We are still waiting for him to come back to that point. And now, how are we supposed to tell Rata, because Ungomezulu came back to say he's done with the cross-examination? Now we're left wondering, where were you going with that point? But I digress. Can we just go ahead in the comment section down below and give Ramasapele his flowers, okay? He is asking the questions, okay? And Upinki is loving it. She's loving referring to her maps. She is loving just checking everything on that laptop of hers. She is loving it, okay? She is feeling the Vodacom expert status. And did I say Ngomezulu? Oops. Ramasapele is letting her feed into that. Okay, he is not bothering her. He is just going with the flow. But you got to stay to the end, okay? Make sure you like the video.
At 1940 and 22.
At 1940-22, we pick up Pretoria North. And the transaction there was the number 8460. Received a call from the number ending 7786, and that lasted 43 seconds.
Now, let me give you a bit of a background. The reason I'm focusing on this fewer transaction with the 8460 number, and then I'll want to also bring in together the 6890, is that my instructions from accused number 2, and it's been put to the witnesses, that he was arrested on the 16th of June 2020. And when he was arrested, the two police officers that arrested him, Sergeants Mohane and Mabena, confiscated 2 phones on him, right? And my instructions are this number, the 076-264-846 number, was on the smaller phone, the white phone that belongs to her sister, but it was in his possession. And the 6890 was in the Samsung Galaxy with the 6890 number together with another 073 number, because it was a dual SIM number. Now, if we look at these transactions, the 17/6/2020, firstly, on the 17th, accused number 2 was in custody in the Pretoria North police station. He was never booked out during that day. So when these transactions occurred, in line with your evidence that a transaction occurs when the phone is within the vicinity of a tower. So the user must have been within the vicinity of a tower for it to have a signal. The accused was never at Hawaii. We don't know where that is, but the Phosphorus Square, because we know that towers are named after locations sometimes. So he was never there. He was never booked out on the day. And then the importance thereof will come here. At 1940 and 22, the last transaction on the 17th, this phone registers at 3G Pretoria North NGA. And then if we go to Exhibit DDE, Roman figure 1, with respect to the 6890 number, we will see that at around the same time, maybe 1950, 55, accused number 2 was still in Pretoria North, but the 6890 is still making activities, and we know for background purposes, I'm sorry for being long, that at the time, accused number 2 was being interrogated by the police at the boardroom, because we've got an entry, which is Exhibit NN from Pretoria North, and I'm going to read it. It says, investigation back 1955, Sandiso Bongani Ntanzi, booked it back by Sergeant Mohani. So when these transactions were occurring, the phones were not with accused number 2. That's the gist of what I'm trying to put to you. Right?
I mean, that was just a brilliantly put, Ramasapele. Well done. Love it that you made that connection. That, wait a minute. How are you telling me that Tower this and that are connecting to Ubongani Ntanzi's phone? The same phones that they're saying he had, and that they never confiscated from him until the 8th of February 2021, I think it is. But at the same time, they also... Senzo Mlunu, I'm just going to always call him in, okay? Whenever there's an issue. Whenever there's an SAPS issue, I'm always going to call him in. Minister Senzo Mlunu, come and listen to this. So Bongani Ntanzi had his phones, but then he was being interrogated. But then the phone was being active and making phone calls at the same time and leaving voicemails. Make it make sense. I would have loved, though, that Ramasapele remember that he's not doing heads of arguments, but instead that this is a cross-examination. He should have posed a question to Opinki to solidify his point and get her to confirm his point. That's what I'm saying. But you know what? I'm going to extend grace because the point was delivered. Pinky should have been compelled to answer a question. Let's continue on.
Okay. Then let's move to the date with respect to 8460. Let's move to the date of the 18th of June 2020. Let's start at the time 11:10:45.
At 11:10.
My Lord, can I just jump in here? Can the witness also be given an opportunity to respond to what has been said? And then furthermore, our version is that the phones were not confiscated at that stage, my Lord.
My Lord, as I stated under host, I said data is data. I'm not going according to the version. I'm going according to the data here.
Which data is that?
The data of the phone 8460 that accused number 2 said it's his number, and the data of 6890. I'm not going according to any version.
Indeed, so much, but can the witness comment on the activities as well, whether those were phone calls, whether the phone was on voicemail? Because the impression that is being created, it seems that the phone was on call or SMSs were being sent.
Sorry, according to the state version, that those 2 cell phones allegedly taken by Mabena and his colleague, according to Mr. Ramasapele, when were they actually taken?
From the accused.
From the state's version.
8th of February 2021.
8th of February.
That's correct.
And
The
were they
information
booked in the SAP 13 register
That's correct.
on the 8th of June.
8th of February
Sorry.
2021.
8th of February.
That's correct.
Okay,
And
fine.
eventually they were taken to Middleburg for downloading and
Downloading.
further analysis. That's correct.
Yes, Mr. Ramasapele, you are asking about the 16th, the 18th, the 17th. According to the state's version, they say that phone was booked in apparently at Middleburg, is it?
Yes, at the TSU.
That's correct.
So,
My Lord, we've got mutually destructive versions.
I hear you.
Yes. Theirs is that the phone was obtained by Mohani and Mabena, and only the one phone, the 6890, at Valeria Police Station on the 7th of February 2021. The version of accused number 2 and my instructions are that the phones were there and then on the 16th of June 2020. When he was arrested, Mabena and Mohani took the phones. Hence, my lord, the gist of what I'm showing the witness is that indeed the following day, when accused number 2 is in Pretoria North Police Station, coincidentally, the 8460 registers an activity in Pretoria North, and similarly with the 6890 registers activities in the Pretoria North tower, my lord.
Yeah, fine. You can go on.
Yes.
I was just wanting to refresh my memory about the version of the state.
Yes, that is the proper understanding, even from myself, my lord. Now let's go to the activity of the 18th of June 2020 with respect to the 8460 number.
On the 18th of June at 11:10:45, 8460 received an SMS, and the tower reflected there is West at Driefontein mine.
Yeah, before we proceed, because so I just want to give you a bit of background with respect to these transactions. It is the evidence of Sergeant Mohani, and indeed accused number 2 has given me the same instructions that on the 18th of June, he was taken to Sibanye Stillwater mine. That is where he was employed at the time of his arrest for the police officer, Sergeant Mohani, Mabena, later joined by Colonel, he was Colonel by then, but now Brigadier Geninda and Sergeant Mohola for investigative purposes. So if we see, and also Colonel Stein testified about this when he was speaking about the AVL record of the motor vehicle that transported accused number 2 to Sibanye mine. So if we see West Driefontein mines and East Driefontein, I'd assume those are the towers at the Sibanye mine, right? So just I interjected you. What was the transaction there at 11:10:45?
At 11:10:45, the number ending 8460 received an SMS.
And the tower location?
That was West Driefontein mine.
And let's go to the transaction of the time 11:39 and 58 seconds.
8460 was on voicemail at 11:39:58 seconds. The tower reflecting is East Driefontein, and the cell phone was on voicemail during that time.
The time of 11:42:05.
8460 was still on voicemail. Driefontein was still the tower picked up.
And then the time of 12:08:17.
During that time, 8460 was still on voicemail, and the tower picked up was West Driefontein mine.
And the times, let me put them together, 16:35 until 14:07, in fact, 14:30:52.
8460 remained on voicemail, and East Driefontein mine, East Driefontein was the tower.
Okay. And then let's go to the time of 19:03 and 20.
8460 remains on voicemail. The tower reflecting there is Furwood Park.
We've already dealt with this earlier yesterday when I dealt with you that, and I gave you the background to say, upon return from the Sibanye Stillwater mines, the evidence of Sergeant Mohani was that they then went towards the Alberton site, accused number 2 in transit in the car that they were transporting him in, because they were doing certain investigation in Alberton. But importantly, this Fairwood Park SGS tower is in Fairwood Park, a township in Alberton, as we have seen. So those were the aspects that I wanted to take with you. My Lord, if I may approach our case number 2.
Yes.
So you already know what I'm going to say. Oh, Ramasapele says, you know what? He makes this long winding point and then doesn't ask a question and then walks away to go and consult Ubongani Mzansi. Accused number 2. Now, my question to you is, do you think he's going to come back and remember? So I want to hear from you, okay? You know, we were traumatized by all these numbers and towers and everything. Maybe that's why it took me a bit longer to do Ramasapele'S video. But here it is as promised. What I want to hear from you is, what are your thoughts on how Ramasapele did with this part of his cross-examination? Okay. Why is that woman who sits behind him? What is she doing? What is she smiling about? Why is she on her phone? She has me digressing, but let's continue listening on. Let me just mind my business and let's continue listening on.
As the court pleases, my Lord, just one aspect. Now, per the evidence, this phone, as the state's version, not our version, that Mohani says it was taken from accused number 2 from Valeria Police Station on the 7th of February 2021. I want you to go to the date that we talked about, which is from the 15th of March 2021, and tell me if that phone, whilst it's at the TSU in Middelburg, is still making transactions.
As we mentioned yesterday, I was supposed to have gotten that case ID with
Yes.
the relevant information,
Yeah.
and I didn't receive it.
No. There's a bit. Remember, the bit that I wanted was from the 3rd of March, because the record ends on the 2nd of February 2021. But that one, let's put it aside until you get the case ID and the relevant information from my colleague. I'm talking about the bit now that does exist there after the phone was confiscated by the police. I think the date will be the 15th of March 2021.
This data, the 15th of March. This data only goes up until the 12th of February.
12th of February.
So we would require
Yeah, okay. We
other
will
case
revisit. Then we
ID.
will revisit that again as the court places money.
Sorry, that data, which you say ends on the 12th.
Yes, my lord. This is on page
Yeah.
1 of 2, on case ID 103-1246.
And you say you don't have that,
It's not attached to here.
but were you instructed to actually get that data in terms of the affidavit?
I do have that data available, but it's not printed here.
It's not in your computer.
It is.
Where's your computer? Yeah, look at it.
Okay. And it's fine if you don't have a copy, my lord?
Yeah, because you'll call counsel to go there
Okay.
and have a look at the computer. Or you can take the computer to counsel.
Okay. Can I project it?
Yes.
Okay, let me look for the data first.
Well, Miss Pinky, okay, Vodacom expert. She tried to pull a fast one there. So you have the data, but you wouldn't give it to Ramasapele, but it's in your laptop. But, yeah, she's acting sus. And then she goes on to question the whole court and say, is that okay with you that there's no printed copy? And that you haven't seen it? Why is she questioning the judge when he has given her an order? Miss Pinky from Vodacom University is becoming quite sassy. But you know what? Let her be. She's trying her level best. She doesn't know. She's yet to go through Umnisi again today. I can't wait for that. Shololo and Unumalo. Wow. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. You already know I absolutely love it. And I'll catch you in the comment section.